it ran pretty well for a long time until the one Big Dogs event where we were, I forget what trail we were on, but you had gone the steep long way around and ended up on a serious angle and just started puking.
Oh,
gas out of your
was
tank.
before long arms, but yeah, that was wild.
Yeah,
I was like,
and when I say puking, like we were behind you, and it was a waterfall of gas.
I had just done my fuel pump.
Yeah,
and I don't think I had the fuel fill neck seated all the way.
Yep.
Welcome back to another episode of Dirt Drive, guys. This week we're a little light. It's just Trevor and I.
Mm-hmm.
We had scheduled PJ to be here, but he
is a bum.
Is a bum. Going to be out of town, and we knew Tom was going to be here, but it's just Trevor and I, and we're going to be talking about my projects. We've done a project update for Trevor on the Comanche and all of his junk.
Yep.
And then we did one for
Tom and the YJ. Yep.
And the YJ and all of his like garbage of scrap heap and the trials and tribulations of the. Did we ever talk about that CJ that we bought for him?
I think we got mentioned briefly as like the in between.
Yeah.
And because it was he had Scrappy, and then he got that thing for like $1,000.
We got the CJ before scrap heap.
Did we?
I think so. Yeah, because it came home.
Oh, that's right. Because he had the Cherokee Chief.
Yeah,
and he got that because he got the whole detached body and everything for like $1,000.
Yeah,
and was gonna put JK axles and whatnot under it. And then because that was taking forever,
he was gonna do a quick CJ build.
Yep, and
to wheel it, and then he realized that cost a lot of money.
Yes,
we put the motor in the frame, and nothing else
from the Cherokee Chief. We put that V8 into the CJ frame.
Yeah, then he sold the body.
Yep.
Did he sell the body?
Yeah, he sold the body and like a couple of the parts that were with it because he was just going to get like a Repla tub or something to throw on top. And because he realized at that point to fix up the body
was going to cost more than...
Yeah, it was just like, it wasn't worth it.
So we've just got the 360 and a Turbo 400.
No, I'm pretty sure he sold the Turbo 400.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, it's just the motor sitting up in the frame.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
And then he got Scrappy, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So, you guys heard all that stuff.
Yeah.
And there's been no updates with his build since we got back from Big Dogs. It's still broken.
Yeah, but we do...
Was that Big Dogs, or was that our...
Yeah, it was Big Dogs.
It was Big Dogs?
Yeah, but we did drop off the drive shaft while we were at SEMA.
With Adams.
And they did send it back.
Shop. Oh, you got it back already?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. So we actually got it back. I think it showed up like the Friday after we got back.
Oh, nice. So
SEMA. It was quick.
So like the day I got married.
Per Adam's standard. Yeah, that's what it was. It showed up that Thursday, like an hour before we left to do the rehearsal for your wedding. But yeah, it was leave it to Adams to have just a massive quick turnaround time.
Well, they built a whole new shaft. What was the guy's name? I forget. The guy we were talking.
Steven,
yeah. Steven Adams looked at it on the bench. He's like, yeah, none of that's getting reused. We're just gonna build a new one. Yeah, he was awesome. That was a great facility.
Yeah, those guys were definitely awesome.
I've got 2 Adams in my Cherokee, and that's because
I have 2 in my Comanche.
I've beat them up so hard. That's why I thought they were powder coated.
Oh yeah.
So I asked him like, so you guys powder coat these in house? He's like, yes. if spray can, if Rust-Oleum is powder coat, then yes, we powder coated them in house.
I think they just whoever's painting them just does a really good job. Comes out super smooth. I think they just do multiple layers and it's on. I mean, they hold up incredibly well.
Yeah, shout out to Adams.
Yeah, I mean they're an awesome product. So.
But back to where we're starting. You were there with me from the beginning of my wheeling journey when I had Big Bruce.
Yeah,
we met at the Cove, and I was. Did you forget about Bruce?
I didn't forget about Bruce. It's just one of those things that it's like. Bruce was a specific time, right? And then it was now the Cherokee, right? And
so I grew up in the suburbs of DC.
Yeah,
and I was in high school. I drove a CJ7. I was the redneck.
You were.
I was the redneck of suburbia.
I was gonna say you were what everyone thought a redneck
Should
was.
be, yeah.
Right? And you were in Ashburn.
Yeah. So I had a
So because you had cowboy boots and a flannel, they were like, ooh, redneck, because he drives a big truck.
CJ7 on 35s with a Dixie horn. I've
seen pictures.
Yeah.
And
because we got rid of the CJ
we saw it
before.
at Evans, because Evan has it still in the barn. But yeah, I never knew you while you had it, like while you were driving it around. But yeah, that's where it started. And then you had Bruce.
Yeah, then I got Bruce. So Bruce was my first car was technically the Camaro, but my first car I drove daily was the CJ7.
Yep.
The first car I ever bought was Bruce, which was a 2004 Chevy Silverado 1500. I think it had a body lift on it when I bought it. And then I put a leveling kit, BFG 35.
I was going to say, you were definitely running 35s on it.
A light bar, like it was clean. I
had a PA system set up on there.
PA system. I had paint matched bumpers. It was
a good truck. Like it wasn't
quite a brodozer, but it was.
But that's the thing. I wouldn't consider it a brodozer at all. Right?
It was just like a nicely built.
Yeah. Not
to toot my own horn, but toot.
No.
It was a nicely built 2004 Silverado.
The only reason I wouldn't really call it a brodozer is because you used it.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't I'm going to slap 35s on this thing and roll around Ashburn real slow. No, you put 35s on it and proceeded to beat the shit out of it.
Well, so it took me...
And towed with it.
It took me years to beat the shit out of it.
Yeah.
So I had it before I started at the fire department. Did I? Yeah, before I started at the fire department at Ashburn. And then like I built it up over the time of being at the fire department. And then I met Alex Horvath there. He had his WJ.
Yep.
And we wheeled
that thing.
We wheeled it on power lines. The first time I wheeled my truck, it was me and him on the power lines behind AOL and Ashburn.
Oh, was that the same place we went to?
Same ish area.
Yeah.
But it was a whole lot worse area because we got stuck. Both of us got stuck.
Oh.
He had to winch under his Jeep to my truck so one of us could possibly get free.
Oh, we've done that before.
Yeah.
So don't ever do that.
Yeah, don't do that. don't wheel on on stuff that's posted. Don't wheel there.
Yeah, don't do that.
But so on the way out is when I realized I was going to wheel it hard, is because after we winched to each other to hopefully get out, which worked, we had to back out of the trail because we couldn't turn around because the mud was so bad.
Okay.
And then as I was backing out, I got to a good point. He got stuck again. So I hooked a tow strap to his rear bumper and started pulling him, and he got free. And then I stopped because we were both free. When you both get free, you stop to pull the strap off so it doesn't get tangled.
Yeah. And
he didn't stop.
Oh.
He backed into the grill of my truck.
What is it with this group and running into each other?
Dude, I was so upset. I have a GoPro video of it somewhere, but it was legitimately 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that GoPro video is. But he backed into my truck and I was livid. I'm like, what the hell? Because it was I still can't find that grill. I want the grill for my truck that I have now.
Well, because I think when we went back there, you made a comment like that because we had just cleaned out the radiator of the JK.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, let's go romp it and see if it overheats again. And you were like, oh, I lost my grill back here. Maybe it's still back here. We drove around for 45 minutes. I don't think it's here anymore.
But that's really where I cut my teeth before wheeling the CJ with my dad.
Yeah.
But that's where I cut my teeth wheeling by myself without supervision. And then obviously we met at the Cove.
Yep. Me and Tom walk.
Wheeling the shit out of my truck, you wheeling your stock. Both of you had stock JKs.
Yeah, he had a winch on his and a front bumper, but that was it. Both me and him were running stock suspension, stock tires, the whole 9 yards. The only difference was he had a winch.
Yeah, and I was beating the piss out of my Silverado.
Well, yeah, because I think in the group of people that we had at the time, minus Greg and Wally, yours was
the most built
out of all the quote-unquote stock vehicles.
Yeah, and that's also when I found out that I couldn't figure out what my truck was doing so well. That's when I found out that has the G80 Gov Bomb.
Yep.
But it's a limited slip in the back that locks up.
Yep.
So I had a rear locker. I was the only one in the group with a technical rear locker, and that truck was killing it.
Yeah. Well, and the longer wheelbase for the stuff that we were doing was definitely helping you too, because a lot of the guys remember when we were back behind Camp 4, everyone was getting stuck in the ruts because their wheelbase was lining up perfectly with the ruts, and yours was so long that by the time one of your wheels was in a rut, you still had traction with other wheels. You were like the only person that didn't have to get dragged through.
Dude, that was fun as shit. I hate that area. I took the Baltimore boys back there last time they were with me because Bobby Nines wanted mud. He's like, I want mud. And I'm like, you sure you want mud? Because I'll take you to some mud.
That area is good for two types of people. The guys who really want mud and they just want to romp around and get dirty and sloppy and gross. And the people who are super overconfident and they're just like, I can run in anything. Be like, cool, I got a spot for you.
Yeah.
And then they go back behind Camp 4 and they're just like, what the hell was that?
Yeah. It's an ego breaker.
Oh yeah.
But
it's
not like
breaker too.
Yeah, it's not like a Rock's ego breaker because those are fun. That's Bunny, but it's like a
no, that's a Bunny is one of those where you're just like, you want to see big, I'll show you big.
Yeah.
Right. And
that's what she said.
Yeah. But behind Camp 4 it's an ego breaker because it's deceptive. Because when you drive up to it, you're like, I'm good. I'm on 35s. I'm on 37s.
Yeah, it can't be that deep. We'll be good. And then
that mud is just because it's got a creek running under it. So
but was that the second day we were there? Because that
was the second day because that's when we were with Greg.
Yeah.
The first day we were with Chris and Lisa,
and I broke
at the playground.
At the playground on the first trail.
We would we even call that the first trail? We had taken access.
That was the access road to the playground. Yeah.
And tell everyone what you did.
Yeah. So I was going up. It was a pretty steep incline. But I smacked.
Because why were we there?
Just to Lisa when she was
her
guiding.
Go-to. Yeah,
before she bought Big Dogs, when she was guiding, her go-to was day one, take the newbies to what they call the playground, which is pretty much the bowl.
Yep.
So it's probably 240 degrees of
little pass-throughs and
inclines and
3 different inclines, all of which are different degrees of steepness.
Yeah.
So you get the real good feeling of this is what it feels like to go up and down. You be a little off camber, that kind of stuff. So it helps people kind of get used to that feeling of you're not actually going to tip over. It just feels like you are.
Yeah. So I was having fun because I was in a big screaming V8, like 6 inches of lift in my truck, and I was doing great. Like the first 3 times I hit it, I was like, yeah, this is fun. So the next time I throttled it, bounced, hit a rock, and pigeon-toed my
we have pictures.
Oh,
it's great.
I've posted them before, but I'll have to post them again.
Looks like your truck had to go to the bathroom, and it's just like I can't hold it no more.
And that's where I met you and Woody.
Yeah,
because Woody took me into town to go get parts.
Yeah, we had briefly met in the line, just in the morning because you know Lisa had gathered everybody up. But it was just your normal like, oh hey, how's it going? Like, cool man, like thanks, and then off to the races we go, and then Woody's like, I'll take him into town.
Yeah, he's like the good dad.
Yeah, exactly.
So I got my tie rod fixed and replaced on the trail up there. The next day, I broke a tie rod again in the truck.
Yep. We were going up to High Road.
I think so. Was that on Moose?
Because that was back when, at the top of Moose, there was like a little bit of a stair step there. Like now it's just a super steep like drop down, and it's kind of scary. But yeah, that was back when we used to go like up Moose to get to High Road. Now you kind of go around and come down because that incline is super steep.
But I didn't have the intuition of my adult self now to buy another part. So I only bought one replacement part for the first part I broke.
And you bought the upgraded one.
No, so I didn't.
So
I was just.
Was that after?
I went to AutoZone and just bought the replacement part.
Yeah.
I should have bought 2 of them because I didn't think I was going to break again, but I broke again. So I broke again that trip.
And we daisy chained 4 vehicles together because you were stuck on the hill.
Yeah.
So I think Tom had winched you, so he had locked his winch in. We tied him to me, and then tied Woody to my front end and put Woody in gear so Bruce wouldn't slide down the hill.
And then the next trip we were out, which was Main Jambo, I think.
I think so, yeah.
This week, we'd like to thank our partners over at Rock Trucks Wheels. Rock Trucks has been independently manufacturing parts and accessories for the off-road industry for well over 10 years. Rocktrix offers the best high-quality, high-strength aluminum wheels for all of your off-road needs. Use code DIRTDRIVE5. That's DIRTDRIVE, then the number 5 for 5% off their entire website. You can find their website linked in today's show notes. Thank you, Rocktrix, for supporting today's show, and thank you to all of our listeners for supporting companies that support us.
I knew, so I put the 1-ton tie rods on there. It was ready. My truck was ready, and I knew what the next part was going to be. It was going to be axle shafts.
Yep.
So I brought 2 axle shafts because I knew, I'm going to break one. If I'm going to break one, I'm going to break 2. The first trail we were on was Lisa's trail. Going up, I was romping on it again. Rah, rah, rah. And it broke. And I'm like, why is the rear wheels only spinning? So we got down to main camp.
Yep.
I switched it out in 15 minutes.
Yep.
And we were back on the trail. That was my pride and joy of trail repairs.
That the when you broke your tie rod at the playground, that's when we discovered who was who in Chris and Lisa's relationship, because she was like, "Do you have the tools to fix that?" And you're like, "Yeah, I got my pickle fork. We'll be all right." And she goes, "Pickle fork? The hell's a pickle fork?"
Yeah.
And Chris just out of nowhere is just like, "Oh yeah, it's for this, this, and this," and everyone's just like, "Got it." Got it. He may be sitting in the passenger seat, but he's got the technical knowledge.
Yeah, and that's when Tom hung out and helped too.
Yep.
So we really built our relationship with Tom, because I built my relationship with you because of Woody.
Yep.
And then with Tom, because he just hung out and helped me fix my shit.
Yep.
He actually ended up camping with us that trip too, because he just came by himself.
Yeah, because he was just going to do. He was camping by himself. You were just going to be there for a day trip.
Yeah.
You had just been like, we'll go out for the day, whatever. And then we ended up having so much fun that you called in sick to work the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys ended up camping together. I was camping with Woody, but we all had hung out that night.
Yep.
And then at Main Jambo, we all went straight back to Camp 6, and it's been that way ever since.
Yep. But after the trip where I broke my drive shafts, not my drive shafts, my axle shafts, I said, fuck it. I'm done with this thing.
Well, remember, I'm pretty sure that's also the trip where we were watching the mud pit and you backed Bruce into a tree.
I did back Bruce into the tree. And I just had that bumper replaced.
Yes, you did. Because
you
got out, we were just drunk.
Full size, I washboarded the truck over those 2 trips. And I'm like, fuck this. I literally can't do this anymore. I can't beat up this truck because it was my daily driver. So,
and also, there's a lot of trails at Big Dogs that just are not conducive for a full-size truck, just from a length perspective. You were fitting through obstacles, but man, those turns were really killing you. Yeah.
So we built Tom's Jeep at my house. Yep. Tom walks Jeep at my house. Your Jeep here. And then
we did the lift kit in your driveway.
Did
remember?
We?
Yeah.
It all blends together.
So we had done the lift kit in your driveway, but we had come here because we were fixing my doors, doing CBs and all that stuff. So we did all that here at Tom's house. And then that's when you had started looking
for Cherokees.
For a trail rig.
Yeah.
And you were like, I want a Cherokee because I beat the shit out of it and care and everything. And you found that one.
And Luckett's.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Frank, my buddy, I think I posted on Loudoun County Real Husbands or something.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm looking for just a shitbox Cherokee. And then this guy, Frank Fitchett, shout out Frank, he was like, hey, I've got one, but he messaged me privately. He's like, hey, I've got one, but you got to tell the guy you're buying it from that we're friends through the fire department, because the guy didn't want to sell it to a stranger. So that's when me and you went up to Luckett's.
Mm-hmm. I forgot that was in Luckett's.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I had in my head that we went further away than that, but it really wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, it was on the way to Torara.
Yeah.
On
that's right.
That's not Yellow Schoolhouse. That's,
no,
I can't remember the name.
I know which one you're talking, but I can see it now. But for the longest time, I was like, we went so far away for that Jeep. And
it felt like it.
Yeah, it really did.
And then so I bought it. The guy's like, man, it hasn't driven right in years, and this, that, and the other. And
because he thought we were gonna have to rebuild the trans.
Yeah,
that was his whole thing. Is it shifts really wonky. It doesn't drive right. You're probably gonna need a new trans for it. And you were just like,
sure.
Do you mind if I drive it? There's fine.
I drove it, and then we got out, and I on the side of the road, I checked the trans fluid. I'm like, Trevor, it doesn't have trans fluid in it. This thing's gonna be a mint. It's gonna be a diamond in the rough.
Because we put trans fluid in and it just whoop, and then we did. You put it in 4-low.
Yep, and I did
and hopped out and just let it
ghost ride the whip. Before that was cool.
Yep, and
then we settled on the price of $700 for it. But the guy
He had just put a new battery in it, and he said 700 for the Jeep or 750
for the Jeep
if you
and
want
the
battery in it. And it's like, you kind of need the battery in it to run the Jeep. And he's like, I guess it's 750 then, huh? It's like, okay,
all right, dude, I appreciate it.
Whatever.
And then put farm tags on it and drove it home through a police checkpoint on 15.
I was driving Bruce.
We were talking on the CB, or no, we were talking on the cell phone because I was on CB in the Jeep at that point.
But I was driving Bruce, which was just beat to shit at this point, just a raggedy hunk. You're driving a what would have been a barely driving XJ with farm tags on it.
Zip-tied farm tags.
Zip-tied farm tags. And all of a sudden we pull up and go, that is a police checkpoint.
I don't know how we got through it.
Holy crap.
I think it's because we were sober.
Probably. Yeah, and that started the epic journey of what is
now Stink Bug.
Stink Bug.
Earned that name because when we got it home, I think Tom Walk showed up that day.
Yep.
And we pulled
because we were stripping everything out of the inside. We were trying to clean it up. And it was just like...
Because it smelled like old car.
Yeah.
It smelled like nasty old car.
Yeah, so we were just like, we'll get rid of all the carpet and whatever. And we're like, that headliner's in a pretty rough shape. You know what? Screw it. We'll pull it down. Pulled one corner and just...
like a waterfall. Like literally a waterfall of stink bugs. It was
dead stink bugs.
Gross.
They were all dead.
Yeah.
I mean, easily 300-400 stink bugs in this headliner. And it was just the most disgusting thing. So, lo and behold.
But then, I don't remember what my first lift kit was. My first lift kit rough country? I think it might have been just to get it up in the air. Because when I bought it, it was bone stock.
Correct.
So I might have put cobbled together a rough country and like some other parts for a lift kit. And I wheeled it like that for a while. I actually drove it. It was on a daily driver, but I would drive it like twice a week.
Yeah.
Just getting it around. We drove it all the way down to Madison, Virginia to wheel at the Rapidan with Fire and Smoke.
Okay.
I think I did that with my brother and his Renegade and like all the Fire and Smoke guys. And that was fun. That was the furthest I've ever driven it. But I wheeled it like in what like stock condition, like 2.5 inches of lift and like 30.
Well, because
my first tire were the tires I have on there now. The Tread Right guard dogs.
Yeah. But that was also back when like you still were of the like, if I wreck it, I'll just buy another one. So you would just do the dumbest shit in that thing. Like you would just like, you would drive through trees. Like you did not care. Like, oh, you need someone to get up to the front? I'll do it.
Yeah.
It just romped right through the woods and everyone's just like, what is he doing?
Well, and then we took it to the Cove the first time. And that's when I realized I wanted a trailer because I wanted to beat it harder and I wanted to get home.
Yep.
So I shortly got the trailer. I got the trailer. We bought the Jeep in, was it like May?
Yeah, it was definitely like...
I know I got the trailer like 6 months after I was going to
say, we got the Cherokee definitely late spring, early summer for sure. So yeah, I think it was towards the end of the year that
because my first trip was at the Cove was... like Toys for Tots, and it was snowing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was probably late spring. I took a few months to get it fixed up and right. Went to Rapidan with Fire and Smoke, and then had it ready for icebreakers.
Yep.
Not icebreakers.
Toys for Tots.
But yeah, I had the trailer. I got the trailer. It might have been a year after. I think I got the trailer. I don't remember what year it was.
I mean, I remember you having that conversation of like,
I want to beat it harder.
I want a trailer, and we were like, why? It's totally streetable, and you were just like, no, like I'm gonna beat the shit out of this thing, and I don't want to have to worry about getting home.
Yeah,
because at the time, Tom still had the Chief, and he was driving that. I had JK. Tom had his JK. Like we were all driving our stuff there, and we would have a good time, but to your point, like we would...
Like it was also a safety net. Like I bought the trailer, but like there was multiple times where I could get home when someone else couldn't.
Yeah,
So we threw just someone else's Jeep on the trailer.
Yeah.
It was usually Tom Walk's Jeep or AK's.
Mostly Tom Walks.
But Tom Walk's Jeep is on the trailer in the driveway right now. Yeah. Not my trailer, Tom's trailer, luckily.
No, it's my trailer.
Was it your trailer?
It's on your my trailer hooked up to Tom's truck.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, we built it. That's when I met someone in Winchester and bought a set of used gears.
Yep.
Used 410s. We slapped the 410s on it with Walshy in the garage. That was so much fun. And just like not knowing what we were doing at all. I
loved your confidence at the time because you were like,
that can't be that hard.
Well, because we had planned a long like shop weekend.
Yeah.
And we were all sleeping here and it was going to be a whole thing. And we all showed up on Friday and me and Tom and Walshy were going to work a little bit on the Comanche. At that point, you were like, yeah, I'm going to get my gears set up. So I just need help getting it up on the bench and yada, yada. It's like, yeah, well.
Oh, yeah, because I was watching videos. I'm like, I'm YouTube certified.
Yeah,
I know how to do gears.
Yeah, and it was like, yeah, they say it takes, 12 hours, but, we got 3 days. Like, we should be totally fine. Get to Sunday, and you still haven't put together one of the axles.
Yeah. Well, because it was me and Walshy doing the gear sets.
Yeah.
And
because Walsh was actually fairly knowledgeable about gears at that point.
He's fairly knowledgeable about a lot of things.
Yeah, but he was the one in the group that most recently had actually done gears. Yeah. And so it was like, all right, Walshy, you know what? Just go help
you do
him.
That. And then you and
me and Tom
were welding.
Yeah, we were
welding the trusses and the gussets on.
Yeah, well, and the 3-link brackets.
The 3-link wasn't there yet. I did the 3-link later.
No. You mean on yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had started like grinding and welding some stuff on the Comanche.
Okay.
And then we started doing your axle.
Yep.
And it was just a whole thing. And then we got to Sunday, we're just like,
none of this is going to be done.
This isn't done.
Tom, I'm going to need another weekend in your garage.
Yeah, and so it's sat here up on jack stands for another week until the following weekend when
I could finally put it back together. But we had everything done. We just pulled the Jeep was on jack stands.
Yeah.
And we had pulled the axles out from under the Jeep to do them on the bench.
Yes.
So you guys were on one side of the garage welding, and we were on the other side of the garage doing gears.
Yep.
I think the snag was a U-bolt broke, and I needed to go to not Trick Trucks, the place in Percival, Truck in America maybe, or something like that. Truck in America is a TV show.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's Truck Night in America.
Truck Night in America. Whatever the truck shop is.
I know which shop you're. I can't think of the name, but yeah, that's
what held
yeah, because we couldn't put the axles back. We didn't have the U-bolt retainers.
But then that's when I got addicted to this thing. Is after I put the lockers in.
Well, yeah, because I think immediately after you put those in, you were like, I need long arms now.
Yeah.
I need a bigger lift. I need long arms. I need 33s.
When I bought the long arms when I was living with you.
Yep.
Because it was pre-COVID. It was.
Yeah, that was end of 2019.
End of 2019. It was like October 2018. No, October 2019. Mackenzie and I moved in with you.
Yep.
And I'm like, cool, like I'm pretty set up. I think I was still, I don't remember where I was working. Was I the ambulance company still, I think?
Yes, at that point.
No, I was at the county.
No, yeah, you were with the county at that point. Because at that point it was a 5-minute commute for you to get to the office.
Yeah, so I was making good money and I'm like, cool, Black Friday sale, I'm gonna buy something. Like I'm gonna buy something for my Jeep. And I got yelled at so much. Because I bought $1,200 worth of long arms. And then COVID happened and then like it was just a nightmare.
Where were you keeping the Jeep at the time?
The Jeep was the firehouse, I think.
Was it?
I think the Jeep was living at the firehouse on my trailer.
Point, we had 5 vehicles at my house. We had your truck, my Jeep, my work truck, Mackenzie's RAV4,
and Brittany's
Beetle.
Yeah.
And so you would park in the driveway. I had the Jeep parked in the grass next to your truck.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Mackenzie were parked on one curb and Brittany's parked on the other.
And if someone from outside the household took one of our spots, all chaos would break loose.
It was so bad.
That was so much fun. Dude, I always forget. And then
but yeah, you bought the long arms and then got those installed.
I did those. Did I do those at the shop?
No, you did those here.
I did do those here.
Yeah, because then this is what we were talking about in the shop yesterday is you hadn't put the shocks in yet and you're like, oh, I want to test the articulation and see what it does. So you backed it all the way down the driveway.
Not paying attention.
No. This was the first time. You backed it all the way down with no shocks in and got up on the dirt hump at the end of the driveway, and your spring fell out because it had articulated so much.
And I giggled.
Yeah, so we got that stuff back in. You drove back to the garage, put the shocks in, and you're like, I want to see the difference. Not paying attention, you started backing up again, ran smack into the tire on my Jeep.
Yeah, I bent my leaf spring.
Well, and your shackle.
Yep, I inverted my shackle and bent my leaf spring.
And we were just like, oh, because I think we had big dogs like the next weekend or something, and it was like, holy crap.
I'm still on those leaf springs.
I know. So what did we do? We hopped up and down on it and got the...
so we flipped the leaf spring, or flipped the shackle first so it was the right way.
Yeah.
And then we just jumped on the bumper.
Yeah, and then you went back down to the dirt pile and articulated your rear end so it would just stuff your wheel into the wheel well, and it straightened the leaf spring.
I don't know how that didn't break.
But
that was
literally
wild.
Me and Tom are on the back of your Jeep just jumping on the bumper trying to get the leaf spring to straighten out. Because you had to have been doing at least 15 miles an hour down the driveway.
Reverse,
and just ran smack. Like, not sure how you didn't hit anything else on my Jeep.
I don't know either. That was amazing.
Smack into my tire. And because we're looking over my Jeep, because at the time you're like, I don't give a shit about my Cherokee. We're looking at my Jeep. It's like,
that's good.
Looks like you just hit the tire. Like, we're good. Like, whatever. But then we looked at your Jeep and we're like, why is your corner sitting so high? Holy shit.
Oh, shit. Damn.
Not only do you have a bent leaf spring, you've got an inverted shackle. So your one corner was sitting like 3 inches higher.
It was so much. It was so funny.
It was so good. Oh, man.
And then we had our first experience with beadlocks. When I got beadlocks, that was miserable.
Because I think, was it?
That's when I lived at my dad's house. I think I did the beadlocks.
Yeah.
Or when my dad's... No, I didn't live at his house.
Your dad still had the house, and we did them there. But I think it was right after... Did you have the long arms yet when we went to AOAA? I don't think so. I think that was right after we had done your axles.
Yeah.
And we went up there and it had snowed. And remember, we were going up the first trail, and you were like, I could get up that. I got lockers now. But it was all ice. So even with your lockers...
Just sliding and moving.
Spinning wheels.
That was such a fun trip. We need to get back up there.
Yeah.
I actually signed up as a guide for the Ultimate Off-Road Field Trip. And AOA is one of the parks that I signed up as a guide for. I don't know if I'll make it. I don't know if my show will be ready by then.
It's going to be tight.
But yeah, it's a thing that I've signed up for.
Because then you did long arms and all that. And then it ran pretty well for a long time until... the one big dogs event where we were, I forget what trail we were on, but you had gone the steep long way around and ended up on a serious angle and just started puking gas out of your
that was
tank.
before long arms, but yeah, that was wild.
Yeah,
I was like,
and when I say puking, like we were behind you, and it was a waterfall of gas.
I had just done my fuel pump.
Yeah,
and I don't think I had the fuel fill neck seated all the way.
Yep.
So I watched, like, you were like, someone started yelling, and I was watching my fuel gauge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, shit.
And it was pouring out of you. Like, it just, you were going, everything was fine, and you got a little hung up. So you went to back up, and as soon as you started backing up, it just started rolling out of your tank.
I forget how many fuel pumps I've been through. I think I've been through like 3 or 4 fuel pumps, which is wild because I've only put 5,000 miles on the Jeep since I've had it for like 6 years.
Well, because your one fuel pump died going down the trail that we took, like Travis and all them down recently when we did that day trip. And you had gone down the hill and come back up, and we were going through the rest of the trail, and all of a sudden you started getting hiccups, and it was like, oh, God, I run a little gas a little low. Like, well, we're going to go back to camp, get some gas.
Yeah, it just died. And then the next time was when I was wheeling with the Blue Mountain Jeep Alliance at Roush Creek. And I punched it out. I landed on a rock and I punched my fuel pump out of my fuel tank. It broke. I don't know. I think I still wheeled the rest of it. Like it was still working, but like every time I hit something and like Noel was smelling gas and Chris was hollering at me. And I made it back, and I was just looking at it. Like I looked up over the differential and I saw like just broken plastic. I'm like, I got to drop this thing again.
You have bad luck with fuel pumps.
And then I did a fuel pump again in my driveway at home because I remember Mackenzie was working the jack stand on gravel, and I'm like, hey, just like we need to balance this.
Yes, perfect scenery to drop a fuel tank.
Garbage Cherokees.
Then there was the time you almost rolled it.
I didn't almost roll it. I just dropped the front end a little too far.
You almost rolled it.
I almost rolled it.
You almost rolled it.
But that would have been more of a flop than a roll because I just dropped I was just trying to articulate through that like ravine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't see the bottom. That'll be fine. It'll come right back up. It just dropped the passenger front.
Yep.
And the driver rear tire was like 4 feet in the air.
Yeah. And that was the thing.
And I was guiding.
You were on 2 wheels, and then you were like, I'll just back up. And
that was before lock. I was pre-locker.
Quist was riding with me, and we could see you throw it in reverse because we saw the Jeep jump backwards a little bit, and you went to turn the wheel,
and it started
passenger,
more.
and it started leaning more. And me and Quist are just like, stop, and Quist like hops out and runs over, and because he's 350, and he's just
hanging on.
He's hanging on the rear bumper, just
till we can get a winch on it.
It's just like, Jesus Christ, dude! Like,
yeah, that was fun.
Stop moving. Turn the Jeep off.
Don't do anything else. Yeah. And actually, you're not guiding anymore either.
Yeah. You go sit in the middle. Yeah, just stop.
But now I'm at a point with it where like I'm in a good spot. I think Black Friday I'm going to order the cab fab over the axle track bar, and then at some point I've got to order my injectors because it's sitting taken apart in my driveway right now. The whole fuel rail's off of it because I had one injector go bad. It was after we got back from.
I thought you replaced that already.
So Brian gave me a set of 6 fuel injectors.
Okay.
Wrong. Year.
Wrong fuel rail?
Wrong year. So the connectors don't match up.
That sucks.
Then that was after we got back from the last trip which we did, which was Big Dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Big Dogs. Main Jambo. And we got home. I had a great trip. The whole trip, it was excellent. The Jeep ran so well. I went to back it off the trailer later that week, and it was spitting and sputtering. I'm like, oh, Jesus, really?
Yep.
At least it happens when I got home. But I did the diagnostic. I did a full tune-up, cap, rotor, plugs, wires, like full tune-up. I'm like, cool, probably just a bad plug. Started it again, still spitting and sputtering. I'm like, motherfucker, it's an injector. So I got all my injectors pulled out, which was a good thing I did that because when I pulled it out and I dumped the fuel rail in the
I think you said there was water in there, wasn't there?
No, it was like bright yellow.
Oh.
That shit was old gas. Which maybe the injector may just be clogged, but it's getting replaced anyway.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you've already got it out.
That fuel was bright yellow. I'm like, that's not good.
That's not good at all.
That's not healthy.
Nope.
Yeah, between that and the track bar, it should be ready to go by our next trip if I can just throw it together.
Yeah.
But we've also got the JK now too, which I have as long as I pay for the upgrades, I've got full rain on apparently now.
All right.
So
I think we're forgetting the most important and best story about the Cherokee though. And you have a framed letter for it.
Oh yes, from Cab Fab.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Cab Fab.
Yes.
So it was one of the first upgrades I did with like when I was on short arms. Like first,
and it was a big upgrade. Like it was.
Yeah, it was huge.
It's a beefy upgrade.
So I did, like I bent the factory steering because that's what you do with factory steering on a 20-year-old Jeep is you bend it.
Yeah. Without even really doing a lot
anything.
To do it.
So the first place I went was like Cab Fab.
Yep. For
upgraded steering, the crossover, solid 1.5 inch bar. It's just straight beef.
Mm-hmm.
And I continued to wheel the shit out of it even on long arms, and I was going down, I think it was Nasty at the Cove, and I landed on a rock on the steering. So I because the reason I went with them because they're lifetime
warranty.
no questions asked warranty, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So I hit them up. I'm like, hey guys, like I bent the steering, and they're like, say that again. Can you send us like proof? I was the first person to bend the Cab Fab 1 ton,
or at least the first person to warranty
it. Yeah. So I mean, and they were awesome. Like no questions. they sent me a new tie rod.
Yep.
And that's why I went with them for the Alpha 3 Link.
Yep.
Because I've got their Alpha 3 Link long arm system in there, and it's so good. Like,
but it was
like even the 3 Link system that I have in there is a lifetime.
Yeah.
No questions asked. If you bend something,
I mean, and
they'll
that
warranty it.
That's. I mean, we always look for stuff like that because that's at least even at that point, like at some point it may fail, right? Like there's always a chance that no matter how beefy something is, it fails, but at least you have that in your back pocket of like, well, at least they'll send me more parts. But getting that email back of,
no, you didn't.
No, you didn't. Like, no, you didn't. Go ahead and send us some photos because no, you didn't.
Yeah,
and then with them going, oh shit, yes, you did.
Congratulations.
Like,
you're the first person to warranty our 1-ton solid steel steering.
And
wow,
and now that letter is kept because it's just like it's such a monument
it's
to
a point of pride
how you've driven that Jeep of like you've beat the shit out of that thing so much that you warranted 1-ton steering that for the weight of your Jeep that like that thing should have lasted forever.
Well, and I don't know how I did that too because like when I first got it, the steering, I put the jack stand on under it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, like I can lift this and this bar doesn't bend.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
And then I bent it.
Yeah.
Because I'm good at my job. R&D, cab fab R&D.
R&D.
Yeah, that thing for being as old and as beat as it is, I mean, knock on wood, knock, I can't reach it. It's got 300,000 miles, original engine, original transmission, original transfer case. The thing is, I mean, it's not running now because it doesn't have fuel injectors in it, but the thing's still running. Like, I could slap it together and I could wheel the piss out of it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what people say about XJs. That's why people love them so much is because they're like, they're garbage, but they're like the best reliable garbage you can get.
And, you know, it's, especially in a trail rig setting, the straight 6, as we all know, is a damn near bulletproof motor. As long as you do your regular oil changes on that thing.
Which I looked at with mine too, because when I bought my Jeep, it's got the right cylinder. It's a 98. It's got the right cylinder head on it. I don't know the 06 whatever casting number is.
Tom would know.
Yeah, it's got the high pinion Dana 30 without the center axle disconnect. It's got an 8 1/4, which is, I mean, people shit on 8 1/4s.
Yeah, but
their drum brakes and their
rather
seat
have
clips.
that over a Dana 35.
Like, I don't know how I lucked out so much on this Jeep. It's so great. And the next upgrade
if we're getting it for $750, like running
$700 with a $50 battery.
Yeah. But running, driving, like all of those what some would consider upgrades, right? For the stock version of the vehicle kind of thing. Like, yeah, I mean, like, it was a steal for what you got it for. But
well, the next projects too are I got to get the track bar in and get the injectors figured out. But then I'm getting Tom's
right,
the 8.8.
Yes.
So we're swapping the Ford 8.8 into my Jeep.
Yep.
He's getting my tons for the deal. I'm getting re-geared to 488 up front because that's what the
I believe that's what the 8.8 is 488.
So I'll have an 8.8 in the rear, a high pinion Dana 30 with 488s. I was talking to someone at the Cove last time, and they were like, "Hey, if you're gonna do,
we shouldn't have to get you a new carrier for that."
No,
because you're already 410s.
Yeah, because I've got the right carrier. But like I was talking to him, and I'm like, "So what are you running? Like you've got 37s on your XJ. Like, is it a 44? Is it this, that, the other?" He goes, "No, it's a Dana 30 set super tight." He said like 2000s.
He's running 37s on a Dana 30, and he hasn't bent the housing?
He hasn't bent the housing.
That's impressive.
He says he goes through axle shafts regularly, but I've got the carbon 15-year, no question asked warranty axle shafts, which I paid $750 for a set of Dana 30 axle shafts. But no question asked, no tire size limitations. If I'm to break one of those axle shafts, they just, like, I just send them a picture and they send me another one. So the guy said you set it to like 2,000 or 3,000, which is super tight for a backlash.
Yeah.
But if you run it at that, and you got an 8 1/4 or an 8.8 with disc brakes, like you might as well be running 44s. Like you could go through a ring gear, but that may be all you break. And like if it's a ring gear and that cost me $400,
wouldn't even cost that.
Like I'm
ring gear
down.
by itself, call it $200.
Yeah.
If that.
But so that's the next big thing is I need to find a set of tires because I want to go 37s when I go to the 8.8. So 8.8.
I mean, for a trail rig, we can
48s.
throw some Patagonias on there.
Yeah, Pats are fine. We'll run Pats. Everyone hates them. We'll run Pats.
Get you some general grabbers.
This week, we'd like to thank our partners over at Rocktrix Wheels. Rocktrix has been independently manufacturing parts and accessories for the off-road industry for well over 10 years. Rocktrix offers the best high-quality, high-strength aluminum wheels for all of your off-road needs. Use code DIRTDRIVE5. That's DIRTDRIVE, then the number 5 for 5% off their entire website. You can find their website linked in today's show notes. Thank you, Rocktrix, for supporting today's show, and thank you to all of our listeners for supporting companies that support us.
Yeah, like I was full in on the tons thing though. Like I bought the set of tons.
Yeah.
Well,
because you got a crazy deal on those too.
Yeah, I got a screaming deal.
Like you bought them for a couple $100, right?
Yeah, I got the 14 bolt, which is the 10.5-inch ring gear, 14 bolt.
Yeah.
With the removable pinion, like the good one, for $100.
Yeah.
I got a 99 through 04 Dana 60.
Yep.
For $200.
Yeah.
Like I stole that shit.
Oh yeah.
And like I saw it on Marketplace. I'm like, I can't pass it up. The reason that I got it though is because I lied to my girlfriend at the time, Mackenzie, and I said, "Hey, would you like to go to Gettysburg to walk around the battlefield?" And then as we were on our way up, I'm like, "Hey, so on our way up, we just kind of make a quick pit stop." She's like, "I knew you wanted to drive the truck for a reason. I knew you wanted to drive the truck for a reason." So we went to Gettysburg, but we got the 60.
Yeah.
And like I've got
that's considering what sets of those things are going for now. Like even just like stocks, like I'm not even talking built, like that same set right now, people are asking $1,000 for that. And it's just wild.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And I bought, like, I was ready. I bought the template to re-drill the front hubs to match the 14 bolt. It's still in my Barnes cart now, is the trusses to make that shit fit, like bolt in my Cherokee. Mm-hmm. I've got like wheels picked out, obviously the super cheap Steely wheels.
Yeah, that's all right.
I was ready for that build.
Steelies.
Yeah, I was ready for that build. But like I just realized that I don't need tons. Like I can have so much fun.
Well, that and
without running.
At this point, it makes more sense financially and from a time standpoint, right? Because like if you swap those tons, you got to get the trusses, you got to re-gear both of them, put whatever, right? Like for that, you get an already built rear end.
Yeah.
All you got to do is re-gear the front, so you're down one less axle that you got to work on. Like it's just, and you're not wrong. Like I think we've all reached that point where we want to do harder stuff but still be challenged by that harder stuff, and we could all build our rigs to just walk over anything if we really wanted to.
But then you like for me that loses the fun. Like I see,
look at Mike. I mean, Mike from Appalachian Off-Road, right? Like he used to have a buggy, and the reason he doesn't run a buggy anymore and runs in his wife's Rubicon is because he was like, it's not fun. Like when you just walk over everything, all you're doing is driving through the woods.
You gotta find the egregious shit to like to break.
And
a
he's
sweat
like, and to do that with a buggy, like you're not doing that at the Cove. Like the Cove has good buggy stuff, but
you're traveling
at a certain point. If you're like us, if you're like most of the people in the off-road world, you want to continue to build and make it better and try harder things. In your local area, eventually you will run out of things to have fun on.
Yeah, and where our builds are, I mean, between the way the Comanche is, if we can ever get it out on the trails, between where...
Just needs a brake line.
Yeah, just needs brake lines. Yeah, we're good to go.
No, just one.
Just one?
Yeah, because for some reason, I bought the flaring tool, so we make all the brake lines. We got through all the brake lines, and they all sealed, except for the rear driver side.
Oh, nice.
So we went to go re-flare another line, broke the first flare, the flaring tool, so I bought another one. That one broke. So then we were like, okay, screw this. So PJ got his out. We managed to flare it, and it still leaked.
Damn.
So we bought a pre-flared one that we put on another side, seals up perfectly.
Nice.
So we just got to put that driver's side in and get the cross member taken care of, and that thing is because
So,
it is
yeah,
technically running and driving now.
between the Comanche, the YJ, like where that could potentially be if it's ever there.
If it goes up on tons,
Yeah,
absolutely.
but like I don't want anything bigger than 37s. 37 is a huge tire. It's obnoxious.
I mean, you and I basically have the same vehicle. Mine just has a truck bed, and I'm with you.
You got a 9-inch and a 44.
Yeah,
but it's like the same vehicle.
Mine's on 37.
Well, it's also got a 350 in it and a turbo 350.
I just more mean from like the body style, right? Like
square headlight squad.
Mine's on 37s, and I'm with you. Like I look at that and go, holy crap, dude! Like
that's fucking huge.
Comanche or a Cherokee on 37s on 6 inches of lift.
It's the 37s are stuffed on 6 inches of lift.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna lose those fenders.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna lose them.
Yeah,
and
you're gonna have to like narrow the front and like.
I mean, the eventual goal is to go back to what Greg had set up with coilovers in the front, and I would love to do coilovers all around and get rid of the leafs in the back, but start with coilovers in the front, and that'll help alleviate some of that. Because I mean, he was running 36 Swampers, which were also stuffed in there.
Yeah, but
I'm with you. Like a 37 on that body style is
37 on anything is because like if you're looking if you're looking at race cars,
but look at the JLs, right?
The like spec for not anything that's like in a limited class.
Oh yeah,
is 37 inches.
Oh yeah,
you don't need 37 inches to do anything more than 37 inches to do anything.
No,
they do everything.
I just more like aesthetically. Like on the JLs, the Gladiators, even on the JKK, on the JKKs, on the JKs, like they don't look nearly as big, right?
Yeah.
Mostly because you don't have to go as tall to run them.
Well, I think that's what we're gonna do.
But like on Tom's to run 30, or yours or mine, like we're running 6-7 inches of lift to run a 37 plus swapping axles, and these modern vehicles are running 37s on stock axles with an inch and a half of lift.
So we've talked about putting 37s on the JK, but I don't want to. Like I think we're just going to do 35s on the JK because we've got the 2-door, and I was
going to say with the 2-door I would do 35s for sure.
Yeah,
because you don't want to lose too much of your turn rate. Like that's one of the biggest benefits of those 2-doors is those things can turn on a dime.
That's also becoming a new project because we've had that thing out in the George. I mean, you guys ragged on me because last time we went to the Cove, I didn't bring my I didn't bring my Jeep
because
I didn't bring
you
my
were
Jeep
having
last
the dead
time.
miss.
Yeah,
so you wanted to do spark plugs and wires,
but I was poor because I was planning a wedding. So and I couldn't get that together.
Yep.
And even if I did get it together, I would have been super disappointed if I got together and it still didn't run right.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I'd have been livid. That thing would have been set on fire in my driveway. So we took the 2-door out just to the Cove, and like all I was doing, I was riding in Brian's Jeep with Habib.
Correct.
And the 2-door was parked.
Yeah.
But like it was just nice having it out doing fire roads.
Absolutely.
And then we went out with Terra Overland, and it was Tom and I in the 2-door. In the George Washington National Forest, and that was a great time.
Yeah.
And then coming home from
that's the thing. The JKs are a great platform. Like,
they're so much fun.
I always had a ton of fun in mine. I know Tom Walk, as much as his is broken and he bitches about it, like I know he has a good time in his. Like the JK is a great platform, especially stock. Like it's very capable, and people forget that, right? Like you don't have to, like. With ours, we have to do crazy things to be able to fit certain things, and the JKs you don't. But the JKs out of the box compared to an old Cherokee, Comanche, old Wrangler, like they're far more capable out of the box than anything from the era of our vehicles. So it's just a completely different animal. So running those trails like you guys did after Overland Expo,
that was so much fun. That's all I want to do in that thing too.
That vehicle. Even as it sits currently, Mackenzie's Jeep is like perfect for doing exactly that.
Except for the track bar. Or not the track bar, the drag length.
Yeah.
Because that we got home from the honeymoon, and on the way home from the honeymoon, we were in the George Washington National Forest. Yeah, mini moon. We ran the George Washington National Forest up to Reddish Knob. And she's like, "You're being too hard on it," because obviously it's her Jeep. She's still making the payments. But I was just driving. I was driving on a fire road. Like you should drive on a fire road. Like I wasn't speeding. And
we drive on fire roads to get to our friends' houses. So it's no different.
But then we got home, and then Wednesday, we went out to dinner with her dad. And on the way to dinner, she's like, "Why is it driving like this?" I'm like, "What do you mean?"
It's a Jeep.
And
It
like
just
it
does
like
it.
no, it was walking all over the road. So I'm sitting on the ground with my phone flashlight under the Jeep, and she's shaking the steering wheel in the parking lot of the Chinese restaurant.
Nice.
And I'm like, "Hey, honey, I think I might have broke it."
It was gonna break eventually anyway. It's fine.
But luckily,
Now she gets an upgrade out of it.
yeah, she gets an upgrade out of it, and luckily we just got. Did we get set up with Apex?
As far as I'm aware, yes. It's I'll email them again on Monday, and just follow up and make sure. But applications in, they've got all of our tax ID and all that good stuff. So as of right now, yeah, we should be set up with them.
It'll be getting Apex 1-ton aluminum steering.
Yeah, and theirs are. I mean, if we really wanted to go super beef, we could do their 2.5 ton.
Yeah, I'm good.
That thing is.
Oh yeah,
because that's what we're putting on Bravo for Terra Overland. Or at least that's the goal, is get there, because so many different people driving that Jeep, and they've got a ton of weight in there that they would do well with 2.5 ton steering. Mackenzie's little 2-door, that would be
1-ton aluminum,
massive overkill.
Oh yeah,
it would be funny.
It would be hilarious,
but
2-inch solid bar aluminum steering. I think we're good. I think we'll opt for the 1.5 inch.
Yeah, because I mean, even the 1 ton in that thing is, the way it's currently set up is overkill, but in a good way.
Yeah.
So that'll be a nice little upgrade for that too, and then eventually swap the rest of the steering over to the 1 ton stuff.
Yeah,
and
that's kind of.
She's got. You guys did like a 2.5.
Yeah, it's got the TerraFlex ST2.
Yeah, that's right.
With the Falcon shocks.
Yep.
It rides so good.
Those Falcon shocks, dude, are
unbelievable.
I got really disappointed when I reached out to them. I was like, "Hey, you guys do any custom valving? Like,
for your
like
truck?
Bilstein does?" And,
for your Jeep?
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, sorry, we don't do any of that yet." And I'm just like, "Damn it!"
Well, do you have the
Bilstein will do?
Do you have Bilsteins in yours?
I do. They weren't technically for the Comanche, but they were the same style.
Yeah.
And we realized that for now, with what's on there, like, they'll work. Like, they've got the proper extension and all that stuff. But Bilstein will actually build custom valved shocks for
to
you.
match your spring rate, to match your vehicle
exactly.
weight. That's awesome.
So, like,
I've got
Falcon makes them for my truck, the GMC. Like, they've got a whole leveling kit that comes with Falcon shocks and struts, which is really nice. For like $1,200. Our price is a little better than that, but it's like even retail at $1,200. Like, that's getting not bad. Like, most leveling kits are a puck, and for a couple $100, and that's all you get, and you get crap ride quality out of it. This is a full Falcon shocks kit that are leveling shocks.
Yeah, and
it's like I can't wait to have the money to buy it, because I know the shocks in mine are totally blown out. They're old Ranchos.
So when I had my 14 Silverado, I put the Bilstein 5100s
Bruce
in
2.0.
There. Bruce 2.0. I put
same color and everything.
Yeah, the 5100s went in there. Great shot.
The 5100s are awesome.
I've got the 5100s in my XJ.
Yep.
And match those with the Cab Fab long arms.
That's what I have in the Comanche too.
Yeah,
and they're a
so
great
good.
product.
Dude, it rides like a cloud.
Oh yeah.
Like, for being a piece of shit old Jeep. Like between the Bilsteins and the long arms, dude, it rides so well.
And that's it. Like, not to shit on Bilstein in any way. The 5100s, especially the 5160s, their reservoir version, those things are awesome. We've done the 5160s for a bunch of customers, and they all love them. They're great. But we stuck the Falcons on Tom Walk's Jeep. And when we took that out and you know how rickety his Jeep is, how uncomfortable in the past it's been to ride in his Jeep. And me and Sylvester were driving that thing and going over rocks. We're just like, this thing floats on clouds. Like, we felt nothing. The only thing we felt was the fact that his front drive shaft is broken.
Yeah, and you didn't have four-wheel drive.
We did, but she was hurting. So for the whole second half of that day, we were driving around 2-wheel drive. Like, we were just like, God.
Hey, Adams.
Adams.
But yeah, when we put the Falcons on the JK with the TerraFlex, dude, it was unbelievable.
And that TerraFlex,
like, for being a 2-door, and 2-doors are known for not riding well.
Yeah. Because they're so front heavy. Like, there's nothing there. You've got the shorter wheelbase. You've got nothing in the back to compensate for the front end weight, especially when you've got two adults sitting
Yeah.
in the front seats. Like, but the Terraflex kits are nice for that too, because they've got really good on-road
Yeah.
ride quality. And I mean, that's what they're more geared towards, is kind of that hybrid life. But you throw those, I mean, they were smart to buy Falcon and be the parent company for that, because that combination, I mean, Falcons with anything are going to ride great, but that the Terraflex stuff, especially their sport versions, the street versions with Falcons, oh my god.
Yeah,
I can only imagine how you guys were riding around with Terra Overland that day, like on
so
fire
much
roads. Like I can only imagine how comfortable
that's where
it
I
was.
got my build idea for the micro overlanding.
Yep.
Is we're gonna put like a roof rack on it, and I don't think we're gonna do a rooftop tent. I think we're gonna do a roof rack, like an enclosed roof rack, to keep our stuff dry, and we're just gonna tent camp. So that way we can still leave room in the back for the dogs. Yeah. Rooftop tent's just too much right now. But
I think also
the micro overlanding is going to be
for how it's set up. There, a lot of those rooftop tents, you're just adding so much weight.
Yeah.
And I mean, for a Jeep that, especially the two doors that are known for rolling because they don't have that longer wheelbase and they're already a little sketchy, you throw that extra weight on top and you're just asking for trouble.
Well, and the other thing that really sold me on not doing a rooftop is at SEMA when we sat through that Overland update class.
Oh yeah,
and the guy's like, "Yeah, only like 20% of the overlanding population uses rooftop tents." And I didn't realize that, like, because all you see when you see overlanding is like rooftop tent on rooftop tent.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a lot of that's marketing, and it's. I mean, we've learned that over the years too. Is you get a lot of new people.
Like, it's a nice luxury. It's super nice luxury.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, the rooftop tents are nice. Like, my mom and my stepdad have one that they carry around on the 4Runner.
Yeah.
Like his. And they're awesome. Like, they're a great investment if you are going to be using it a lot and you want the ability to pack up quickly and just drive away. Absolutely. This isn't a, rag on rooftop tents or anything like that. But for our purposes,
tent camping is all you need.
Yeah, because we're not, at least as of right now, we're not going out as often. Everyone's busy. Places have been iffy about letting people in, not during events, and what have you. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of weight. Financially, it's a pretty big investment because they are not cheap.
Yeah, like $3,000 to $5,000.
Yeah, I mean, you can get some for less than that, but you're spending no less than $1,800 most of the time.
Well, that's just for the tent. You got to buy the roof rack, and the roof rack support system.
Exactly, and especially for Jeeps, right? Because you've got the hard top or soft top. The roof racks have to be put on a specific way. It's not like other cars that are completely enclosed, like 4Runners and Tacomas and
where
whatever.
You just bolt it to the factory roof rack.
Yeah, and you're good to go. So it's
you got a fiberglass top that you don't want to crack in half.
For Jeep owners, it's a pretty big investment. But you're right. We sat in that class and they said that. And I think we all kind of looked at each other like, that's wild. Because you're right. All you see, anywhere you see the word overland,
there's a rooftop tent.
There's a rooftop tent. Or an awning, or something, and it's like these are all great tools.
Well, like Overland Expo.
Oh my god!
Everything.
It was Tent Expo.
What? No, it was Rooftop Tent Expo. There was no ground camping equipment there at all.
There were two that I saw, only two,
for ground camping.
And one of them was the teepee that the guy had set up. That was like an 8-person.
That Sean is like, that's cool.
Yeah, which is awesome because he had like the whole like wood stove set up in the middle and piping it out the top. It's great. Not really realistic if you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Like we all tend to bring our own tents, right? Like I don't need to be setting up an 8-person tent just for me.
Yeah.
So we all have our like little 2- and 4-person tents that we bring, set up, whatever. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Like that's, if we start going out, like if we ever get to a point in our lives where we're able to have somebody else do work for us and our main job is going out and testing rigs and
podcasting and doing YouTube videos.
Well, yeah. Or like, you go to guide trips or you get invited out. Yeah, sure. Maybe at that point, we start talking like, hey, this is going to be a true overlanding trip and we got to have as small of a footprint as possible. Yeah, I mean, we may talk about the whole rooftop tent thing, but
yeah, till then,
if you're gonna, especially for you guys, I mean, Mackenzie drives that, you drive that out on the road. You don't want to have to continuously take it up and down, and now you got a place to store
Well, also for the
it.
dogs, like,
Yeah.
how do you get dogs in a rooftop tent? You
Absolutely.
don't.
Yeah.
I go, like, we've got 2 90-pound dogs.
Yeah.
I'm not carrying Odin up a fucking
First of all, I
collapsible
don't-
aluminum ladder.
Knowing Odin, I don't think he would let you.
No.
Right? Like,
No, I can pick him up as much as I want. That dude loves getting picked up.
No. I get that, but
As soon as you bring stairs in.
it's a completely different aesthetic when you're only holding him with one arm trying to climb a ladder. Dude, I would pay to see that.
Oh,
but
I wouldn't.
The kid, no.
Yeah, that's why we're gonna stick with the ground camping for that thing at least. It's just because the dogs and
Yeah.
I mean the financial part
But
of it is.
but that's all you need, right? Because you can get like call it a 4-person rooftop tent, right? Those things minimum are $2,200, $2,500. I can go buy a 10-person tent
for $100
online that's got a separated mud room so that you
Yeah.
don't have to take your shoes off in your sleeping area for $220.
Yeah,
And it pops up in 5 minutes.
yeah. You
Like,
set your cots up,
and I
you're-
think that was the
you're good to
biggest
go.
thing about the rooftop tents early on is the ease of which you could set them up. But so many of the ground tents now,
They just like unfold.
yeah, they unfold, they snap together. Like you don't have to go through this.
Well, so when we
massive
were
process.
out with Tom and I were out with Terra Overland,
Mhm.
we timed it.
Yeah.
So we started set up at the same time. Our camp was set up by the time they got their tent up, like set up on it, like they're awning up. Our tent and cots were set up.
Yeah.
So it takes about the same amount of time. They were a little
To be
further
fair,
ahead because they had
we're used to that.
yeah.
Like we've set up our tents and our cots a lot, so we've got practice. But I would say probably on average, the rooftop tent's only going to save you a couple minutes.
Yeah.
If you do it enough. I mean, that's
Yeah.
true of anything, but if you do it enough and you really timed yourself, if you got good at opening a rooftop tent and got good at opening a ground tent and setting up, the rooftop tent's probably going to save you 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, the last time we were at Big Dogs and it started raining, we had our entire camp broken down.
Oh, dude,
In
we were
20 minutes.
We were down quick.
Like, and that was
That's when it all crashed at my house,
that
yeah.
wasn't a, oh yeah, we're just gonna, pull the tent stakes out of the ground and just throw them in the truck. No, we folded the tents up, we wrapped them up, we had them in the bags, we had every vehicle packed and loaded, completely broken down in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was 6 guys.
Yeah.
And that was with
six
picking up
tents,
trash.
6 guys, 6 tents, a cooking setup.
Yeah. Like I had already somewhat broken down the cooking setup, but as far as the tents were concerned, it was 6 different tents and vehicles all packed within 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Trash picked up, everything.
Yeah, it was impressive.
And it was like, damn, we're good,
Yeah.
real good at
Hell
this.
yeah. We should do this more often. I think that's what we said.
Yeah,
we should
man, we should really do this more often.
we should sleep at Tim's house on the way home
Yeah.
Saturday night every time.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't do that because my wife was just like, you haven't been home like 6 weekends, right?
Yeah, and
like,
you know you're gonna be
"Oh."
gone for the next like 2
Yeah,
weeks.
exactly. So it's like, hey guys, I'm gonna go home.
Yeah.
And I missed an epic party, and I'm sad about it, but it was just also
It wasn't an epic party. We just kind of hung out for a little bit, but it was fun.
I call it epic considering Brian fit inside of a denim jacket.
Considering
that Tom
all
Walk was,
all the boys were there.
yeah. But I will say it was nice waking up the next morning in my own bed
Yeah.
and just being like,
I
lay
was
here.
in my own bed.
Well, you were, but I'm sitting there laying in bed. And I'm like, I don't have to get up and do anything.
Yeah,
this is nice.
Oh shit. Well, thanks for hanging in there with us, guys. I actually forgot we were recording for a little bit.
Yep.
That was just fun.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening. Check us out on everywhere social at the Dirt Drive, Dirt Nerds Off Road.
Yep.
For
you can get to You can get to everything through dirtnerdsoffroad.com. So everything is set up. You can see all of the podcast episodes. You can get to the swag store. You can get to the shop center. Everything.
all the social media pages.
Yep, all the social media pages are linked there. So dirtnerdsoffroad.com. Get yourself some swag.
Yeah,
Hit us up there. Let us know if there's anything that you want to hear about on any episodes, anything you're looking forward to.
Yeah, we've got the 4x4 Curious stickers up now.
We got all the stickers.
We've got the Square Headlight Squad stickers are up now.
Yep. So yeah, definitely check it out. Get yourself some swag and some decals, and we will see you guys next time.
Thanks for listening.